Hey everyone, I am Alanna McGinn and I am super excited to be part of Poosh Your Wellness, and today we are talking all about sleep, and I'm here with Steph, Shep. I am a sleep consultant with Goodnight Sleep Site, and we're going to be talking about sleep and getting down to some sleep tips, I think, for Steph as well.
I'm so excited. I always love a good sleep.
So we're going to be talking about Poosh, your bedtime routine, and something that I always like to talk about is how important the bedtime routine is, right? So heading to bed at night, getting a good night of sleep, but it's really important to really focus on all routine throughout the day. So I like to talk about things you can do during your morning routine, things you can do during your afternoon routine, that can also help you fall asleep a lot easier.
Cool, I'm excited. Please show me the ways for good sleep.
So is there anything going on, Steph, let's talk a little bit about your morning routine. Let's start from the moment you wake up in the morning. What are some of the things that you feel you're doing right? And maybe what are some of the things that you feel maybe you can work on a little bit?
Okay, you're gonna destroy my morning routine. I really, I have to be better about it because well, first of all, I am not a morning person, and I'm trying with everything I have to be a morning person, and it's just never gonna happen for me. So I set 6 alarms at different times to make sure that I'm up, because I'm just a heavy sleeper, so I sleep through my alarms. I assume that that's not the way to do it. I feel like I always read you're supposed to just set your one alarm and wake up with that alarm, because I feel like it must mess up your sleep cycle or something to be woken up at various windows of a time. So that's probably wrong. So I do that, and then the second that I open my eyes, I check my phone. And I know that's so wrong.
I mean, so many of us do, right? And I mean, coming back to the alarm, we want to avoid hitting that snooze button. And the reason why we want to do that is sometimes when we do that, the more we hit it, we actually feel a lot worse. I don't know if this ever happens to you, but do you ever actually feel a lot worse every time it goes off than when it initially went off the first time?
Probably.
Yeah. So what happens is we all cycle in and out of sleep. And within a cycle of sleep, it's about a 90-minute cycle. Within each cycle of sleep, we're transitioning through deep and light sleep, light and deep sleep. So as we're hitting that snooze button, our body's going back into that deep sleep, and it almost feels like we have that sleep hangover. So the recommendation would be to set your alarm once. If you're having a really hard time, setting it 6 times, try and set it away from your bed so you actually have to get out of bed to turn your alarm off, and then you won't be so prone to getting back into bed to keep hitting that alarm. In terms of checking your email, the great thing about the morning routine is this is really a time of the day, just like your bedtime routine actually, where you're able to really focus on yourself, where the distraction of the day hasn't started yet. And listen, our days get busy quick, right? And those distractions happen really easily. So the minute we check our phone, we're checking the news, we're checking our work emails, we're checking social media, the distractions start right away. So try and focus on your morning routine as giving yourself about half an hour if you can, or an hour before checking your phone, before kind of opening up those distractions, and do an activity that's just for you. It could just be drinking a cup of coffee in a quiet room, or exercising, or doing meditation, doing something that just allows you to start the day with a more peaceful state of mind, with a more calming state of mind, because that will actually carry on throughout the day and into that bedtime routine as well.
Okay. It's all about getting into the habit for me of doing it. Once I get into a routine, I love a routine, but it's just about really setting that habit. I have my yoga mat right next to my bed for me to stretch, and in the morning it just sits there. I haven't used it yet, but now I'm gonna do that, because I do know that that first introduction to your day is so important, and then to be bombarded with texts and anxiety of all the things that you have to do probably isn't the healthiest way to get your day going.
It sets the tone for the rest of the day, right? So again, as much as you can do, that's why I always like to give those time frames. Even if you can just start with 50 minutes, then maybe start with 30 minutes, then maybe even make it that hour. And then when you wake up in the morning, the best thing that we can do in the morning is just immersing ourselves in that natural light. That natural light is what suppresses our melatonin. So melatonin is our natural sleep hormone. This is what starts, prepares our body to sleep. So at the night, we want to turn it on. We want to release it. But in the morning, we want to suppress it. So opening up the blinds, shutting off your alarm the one time, opening up your blinds, getting into that natural light. It's just going to help kind of start your drive for sleep, because that's really our goal. When we wake up in the morning, our goal through the rest of the day is to really start building a strong drive for sleep. And that's going to help us fall asleep a lot easier at night. So a lot what we do in the morning can really affect how easily and how well we fall asleep and sleep throughout the night as well.
Can I ask you a question? And maybe this is like specific to each individual person, but like what time should I like get up? Like if I'm going, like what, if I'm going to bed, like what time should I go to bed and what time should I then be waking up?
Right. So on average, we're looking at about 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, but that's different for everyone. So everyone has their own personal baseline of sleep. So you might need 7 hours. I might be fine with 6. Somebody might need 8. Somebody might need 9.
I feel like I'm a 10. I'm a solid 10.
If you're a solid 10, if that's what works for you.
In a perfect world, that's
in a perfect world.
Maybe I'll aim for 8. You know, 8 feels like the goal.
Yes, and that's a great goal to have. If you can aim for that 7 to 8 each night, that's a great goal to have. So I always base your bedtime off of what time you have to wake up in the morning. Because, you know, our morning wake time is largely dictated off of our life. We have to get up for work, get the kids off to school, like whatever we need to do in the morning. So base your 7 to 8 hours from that time that you need to wake up in the morning. And that gives you a good baseline also for your bedtime, to keep that consistent bedtime. The more consistent you can be with your bedtime and your wake time, and this is actually one of the steps of what we call sleep hygiene. So sleep hygiene are the practices and steps that an individual takes to obtain proper sleep health. And keeping consistent sleep patterns is one of the steps. So having that consistent bedtime, having that consistent wake time can actually help you fall asleep a lot easier and wake up a lot easier in the morning as well.
I always say I want to wake up at like 6 a.m. like every, you know, like, but it just, I don't know, maybe it's just not going to happen for me. That's okay.
That's okay. You got to do what works for you.
And I want to drink more water. I want to start my mornings hydrating, because I don't do that and don't drink water for the day unless I really like get it going. Isn't there something about drinking water in the morning to like start your system, like a hot water with lemon or something?
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're asleep for a few hours, right? Whether it's 6, 7, or 8. So there's a lot of dehydration that's happening while you're sleeping. So when we drink water first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach as well, we're rehydrating our body, which is great. This is going to boost our metabolism. It helps kind of prime that digestive tract. It gets those bowel movements going, which is always a great thing to do first thing in the morning. And it helps you kind of re-energize and refresh. It's actually a great, they say it's a great tool too if you're a napper and you're trying to kind of get up from a nap. Drinking a nice cold glass of water from the moment you wake up is just a great way to re-energize. It brings the blood flow up to your brain, gets the heart pumping. So water when you wake up is a great way to wake up in the morning for sure.
Okay. And then if I am going to be a napper, which I am not, but if I were to want to take a nap, is that like a 15, 20-minute nap?
You got it. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, a lot of people ask me that, should I take a nap? So what I always say is that's really dependent on the person. If you're an individual who has a pretty healthy relationship with sleep, you sleep pretty well, having a nap here or there because you need it isn't a big deal. If you're someone though who is really struggling with sleep, suffering from maybe like chronic insomnia, having a lot of difficulty falling asleep or falling back asleep throughout the night, we don't want to rob our drive. Remember I was talking about that drive for sleep, keeping a nice strong one. We don't want to rob that drive by having that nap during the day. So those are the individuals that I say maybe avoid the naps. If you are going to nap, exactly what you said, aim for that 15 to 20 minutes. When I was talking about the sleep cycles before, a full cycle for an adult is 90 minutes. So when you're taking a nap and you wake up at that 30-minute mark, at that 60-minute mark, you know when you wake up from a nap and you actually feel worse than when you originally went to bed, right? That's because you're waking up in a deeper state of sleep. So this is what we call sleep inertia. Again, it's that sleep hangover feel. So either take a short 15 to 20-minute nap or take a full 90-minute nap so that by the time you're waking up, you're coming out of that cycle of sleep and you can feel refreshed and energized.
That's good to know.
The do's and don'ts on napping.
Yeah.
Let's get to bedtime. I want to talk about your nighttime routine and
okay.
How are you sleeping at night? How's sleep going for you right now?
I love to sleep. Like honestly, like it's probably one of my favorite things to do. Like I so look forward to going to bed every night. It makes me so happy. I think I'm sleeping okay. Yeah. I have a hard time falling asleep at night, and I always, not always have, but I've noticed I just really have lately been needing something to really knock me out to get to sleep because I can't turn my brain off sometimes. Like, it's so annoying. You're so tired and you're like, oh, I just can't wait to get into bed. And the second your head hits the pillow, it's like, oh, just a replay of all the things you did that day, all the things you said, all the things that you need to do, all the things that you know, you're just like replaying everything in your head. Well, at least I am. And so I have a hard time falling asleep.
You're not alone in that. I mean, that is probably the biggest issue that I hear from individuals. And I'll be honest, especially women, we constantly have that to-do list in our head, right? And what happens is we are so busy throughout the day and we're so distracted that every concern, every worry, every to-do list, every stress just gets pushed down and down and down. And then by the time you go to bed at night, the distractions are gone and your brain just whoosh, right? Everything just kind of floods. So going back actually to the afternoon routine, something that I recommend individuals do, and this might work for you, Steph, is giving yourself a personal pause. And what I mean by that personal pause is this is a time of day for a minute or two. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing it. Maybe once or twice a day. Go into a quiet area and you can do one of two things. One, you can give yourself time to just be in a more mindful state, be in a more present state of mind. But also I think it's important, and it always sounds weird when I say this, but I also think it's really important for people to allow themselves time throughout the day to stress out. Because we're gonna stress out. Like, we're gonna have worries and we're gonna have concerns. And I'm encouraging people to work through that throughout the day. So it could be something as simple as writing out your to-do list, right? Or working out. Don't sit there and really stress out, but work through whatever issues you're going through during the day, during that time, so that when you go to bed at night, that's not kind of what's always ruminating and replaying in your brain.
Okay. That's a good tip. I can do that.
Give yourself that personal pause. Journaling is a great idea too. Again, just keeping something. And when I say journaling, I don't mean, writing out all your thoughts and feelings, but just having that. There's something to be said about pen to paper, I feel, and having that on your night table and kind of giving your brain that dump before you go to bed and writing out, again, it could be a to-do list. It could just be a problem that you're trying to work out, whether it be a work problem, a social problem that you're just trying to work out, just so that you can go to bed with a more clear mind, with a more clear state of mind.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I really agree with the pen to paper thing. I'm such a notebook kind of person. I keep one in my bag at all times just to write things down.
And, really customize your bedroom to you to help you fall asleep a lot easier. And this is where kind of creating your own personal toolkit comes together. Do you have, when I say personal toolkit, do you have certain tools in the bedroom that puts you in a more relaxing state that can help you kind of drift off a lot easier?
I do find, like, especially when I'm traveling, when I use my sleep mask, it like calms my eyes, if that makes sense. Just so that, like, because I like when I close my eyes are fluttering with all my thoughts. Just like having the sleep mask on my eyes and keeping them closed and really like shutting out the light actually really does help me when I'm having trouble falling asleep, or if I wake up and I can't fall back asleep, then I put my sleep mask on. There's
something to be said about sleep masks, and sleep masks are great because not only are they kind of easier on our skin, they're not as absorbent, so they're going to keep your natural oils in, but there's also that pressure, right? This is what kind of hits our natural pressure points in our eyes. It kind of puts us in a more calming and relaxing state. It also helps darken the environment, right? So when we're creating that sleep environment, we really want to be focusing on cave-like settings to make a conducive sleep environment. So that sleep mask is going to help kind of block out, especially when you're traveling, because, some hotel rooms are different than others. It's going to help kind of block out that light, which is going to help release that melatonin and get you prepared for sleep. But individuals can put what they need in their sleep toolkit. So it could be something like earplugs, as you mentioned, eye masks. It could be aromatherapy, diffusers in your bedroom if that works. Whatever's going to help you kind of, again, customizing your own sleep needs to help you fall asleep a lot easier.
Okay, so yeah, I like that idea of having the personal toolkit. I have my mask. I'm going to get my sound machine. I've got my journal already by my bed. I use the silk pillowcases because I just like them. I like them for my face. I like them for my hair. I like that they stay cold on the other side when you flip your pillow over.
Let's talk tech. I feel like tech is something that we always need to talk about. How are you with tech in the bedroom?
I'm the worst. I am the worst. I don't love to watch like TV before bed. Like I would much rather like read a book or just like have nothing on and probably be on my phone. I try not to check like my socials too much during the day, which then I look forward to right before bed. I check everything. So that probably isn't the smartest thing to do, but I just lay in bed and just like check my phone. That's literally the last thing that I do before I go to bed.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've actually changed my stance on tech in the bedroom a little bit. And the reason why that is because I understand I'm a mom of 3, so I have 3 children. I know, especially when I'm speaking to parents, I understand the glory of those evening hours once the kids are in bed. And that's like your time. That is your time to, go on social media, watch the shows you want, do what you want. So, coming back to what I was saying before, if you are an individual who's really struggling with sleep, again, chronic insomnia, this is where I really recommend clearing tech out of the bedroom. In my opinion, tech is probably the biggest sleep buster on our night table and in our bedroom that's really not allowing us to have a great night of sleep because we are always connected. And it's for a few reasons. One is we can talk about being in front of that bright screen. Think of that sleep switch in your brain, right? When we go to bed, we want to turn that sleep switch on. But a lot of people say, well, I fall asleep fine to the TV, or I can fall asleep fine after being on my phone. You're sleeping, but the sleep switch is off. So your body and your mind still thinks that you're awake. So you're not able to get that really deep restorative sleep. And then also, what are we allowing in our thoughts in our mind right before we go to sleep, right? How's that setting us up to quiet our mind so that we can get a good night's sleep? So if you are an individual that's struggling with sleep, it's really best to clear it out of your bedroom completely. For instance, in my home, we have a family docking station in my home where we all plug in our devices. My daughter's entering the real world of tech now as well. So, we started with her right from the beginning and we just cleared out the bedroom. But again, I understand the love of those evening hours. So this is where you have to create boundaries on what tech you're allowing in to your nighttime routine. So the headlines are just heightening our stress and heightening our anxiety. So maybe if you're more sensitive to that, it's probably best to stay away from news right before you go to bed. If there's social media accounts that make you feel good, those are the ones that you can check in at bedtime. But if there's ones that just don't make you feel very good, and we all know those ones, or ones that just give you that kind of feeling of FOMO, maybe those are the ones that we need to stay away from before we go to bed, right? If you're more sensitive to serial killer shows, don't watch that before you go to bed.
Oh, never.
But if you want to watch like a show that just makes you feel good, or now, we can't see our friends and family that much, you want to stay connected. This isn't me giving you permission to, binge a show till 2:00 in the morning. But if you want to just watch an episode or two because it just takes your mind off of the stress and the worry that you're feeling every day, I say go for it.
Yeah, I need to do that. And we're trying to make a rule here because we tend to watch like CNN and then the local news before bed, which is like, I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Like I like to put on an easy, funny show to kind of just like not think and have a laugh. So I'm implementing this like 2 nights a week, like just no TV. Like I have so many books that I was supposed to read during this quarantine last year that are just stacking up that I literally have not gotten to. And so I'm implementing this like 2 nights. We're reading books. We're not doing the news. We're not doing any TV, get the nourishment a different way.
Yeah. And I think that's great. And again, that's you setting those boundaries, right? And it's, you mentioned at the beginning of our talk, it's all about habits. A lot of what we talked about today is just that. It's changing habits. And something that I'm always trying to get people to understand is when we look at the 3 pillars of health, we look at sleep, we look at nutrition, we look at exercise. We know when we need to eat better. We know when we need to work out because we're not working out or we're not eating well. We sleep. So we don't really maybe realize that we're not getting enough sleep or we're not getting the right quality of sleep. And when we put a workout plan together, when we put a nutritional plan together, we commit to it. We know we have to commit to it to see the results, right? We're not just going to do one workout and look amazing. It takes time. So anyone who's watching this, and for you as well, Steph, when you're putting your sleep plan together, using some of the tips we talked about today, you have to commit to that plan. It takes, what do they say? It takes 21 days to change a habit, right? So we can't expect to remove tech one night and then sleep well. Like it'll take time. So I hope some of the tips that we talked about today is gonna put you on a great road to some good sleep health.
I hope so. I feel like, you know, I have the information, and now I just have to really stick to it and make it a habit. And I mean, who doesn't want a good night's sleep, you know?
That's right. We all do. We all do. Well, is there any tip in particular that you're going to implement maybe starting today or tomorrow?
Oh my gosh, so many. I feel like I need to like rehaul my entire life. You know what? I just want to like put it in action. You know, the water is a big one for me in the morning, and I'm going to do the alarms. I'm going to get the sound machine alarm. I'm going to put my phone in the other room and really not set 100 alarms to try and wake up. Because I feel like that's like my biggest thing, that I just snooze and I go back to sleep, snoozing back to sleep. So I'm going to do that, and I will let you know how it goes.
I love it. Check in with me and let me know. And I hope that everyone watching, you guys were able to take away some amazing sleep tips to help you guys sleep better. And check in with Poosh, check in with myself, and let us know how it's going. But give yourself time when you put that sleep plan together, and be patient with the results. But if you're committed to it, you will see it. And thank you for joining myself, and thank you for joining Steph for Poosh, your bedtime routine.